Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Police are on high alert to this festive season as Police Minister Bheki Cele reiterates that police will leave no stone unturned in fighting all forms of crime. Now, speaking to us here about many levels of crime, including police corruption and the instability of policing in the country, especially during festive season, we're now joined by Independent Policing Union of South Africa General Secretary Mpho Kwinika. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. So, we've heard the Minister of Sports talking very tough, the Minister of Police, I beg your pardon, talking very tough in terms of fighting crime, particularly during the festive season. We know, of course, 10,000 more officers have been deployed at various areas in the country. How confident are you that, the police will be able to at least thwart some of the crimes that we are seeing in most parts of the country?
Good evening and good evening to you and your viewers. Look, the minister has done his job. That's what he's telling the public now. That I have managed to source about 10,000 police officials, and now the job remains with the operational people who are going to deploy these police officials throughout the country. But he has indicated that he will want to see them deployed in entertainment areas and crowded areas. You will see in his statement, he has put in a disclaimer, and then he said, these high visibility successes shall depend on the type of training that these members have been given. And he also alluded to the issue of the deployment of those police officials in those areas. And the last point, he had used the issue of the relations between the public and the police.
There have been concerns, particularly when we are talking about this time that we are on, of police trying to solicit bribes from, South Africans and vice versa during this time. How concerned are you about such utterances, particularly given that, during his budget speech, we know that the minister did indicate there is going to be a lot more focus on visibility?
Look, there is no doubt about the issue of corruption within the South African Police Service. The public are aware of the issues that are happening in the police today, and especially amongst the top brass within the SAPS and even in the junior ranks. We, as the Independent Policing Union of South Africa, are worried about this because some of the attributes of this is the lack of leadership. They say when the cat is away, the mice might play. So discipline must be maintained at all times, and the officials or management are responsible for the implementation and effectively and efficiently application of discipline. So if we see police officers not doing what they are supposed to be doing, the police management must utilize discipline as the line function issue to correct their conducts.
How feasible is that? Because we haven't really seen much action. There is, at the moment, you would recall, also the issue of the trust deficit between community members as well as, the police force, where community members are saying that some of these criminals, particularly the ones from a gang-related perspective, are known to the police. And therefore, there is no, transparency in as far as police is concerned. And of course, we don't hear of these stories of high-profile criminals, being arrested, particularly those that the members of the community are complaining about.
Look, again, we will go back to the issue of discipline, because if we apply it throughout or across the board and not utilizing it as a weapon, to discipline those that you don't want, utilize it to bring the conduct of police officials to the standard that is required, we may see some improvement when it comes to issues of eradication of corrupt activities by some of the members in the service. The capacity of IPID as well, it needs to be beefed up, because IPID is the only institution established in terms of the law, I think Section 206, to look after the conduct of the police officials. Currently, what we see as an organization is that IP does not have the capacity to deal with the problems within the South African Police Service. So the moment IP is capacitated, we will see the decrease of ill discipline within the South African Police Service. But as things stand now, we will need to do more to make sure that the situation changes or turns around.
In as far as visibility is concerned, does that automatically translate to rapid response from police? Because now you have a situation where more money has been placed on visibility. Is that something that is, bearing fruit, particularly when we know that there is a lack of detectives, in the country, about 8,000 or so, shortfall of those. But are you seeing those improvements happening on the ground?
The current deployment by these 10,000 police officials is for visibility purposes. It has got nothing to do with the detection, because if we go to detection, you have already indicated 17,000 detective services are servicing more than 60 million South Africans. That is a great deficit, and we don't think that they will be able to investigate crime efficiently and effectively. But what the police need to do now is to get out of the box now and say, the current training program that we have, are we producing the police officials, the kind of police officers that the country needs today? And we are worried about that as the Independent Policing Union of South Africa, that the model of policing, or the model of training that we have is not responding enough to the violence natures of crimes that we see outside in our communities or societies. So the deployment of the students, the row constables that we have now, those members are still going to be nattered. They're still going to be taken through a process. I think in front of them, they still have got 6 months to finalize their course. So they are still students. They need guidance. They need good leadership to take them through the process. But who is supposed to be doing that? The police service is short-staffed. The police service has got no vehicles. The police service has got lack of detective services that we are talking about too. And there's a lot of police officers who are leaving the service. So the environment is not conducive for these students to exercise utilize the opportunity for better training. To finalize their better training part of the 6 months that is remaining in front of them.
All right, so thank you so much for your time this afternoon. That's all the time we have. And that, of course, was the Independent Policing Union of South Africa's General Secretary, Mpho Kwinika.